Oh, thank God that the drama's over. Well, over as well as it could be. Could make a follow-up video on the whole Space Station drama thing. If you'd like that, let me know. But for now, let's get into a topic that I've been meaning to discuss for a while. But this topic has actually been spurred by a certain event in Funky Station. For the unaware, Funky Station, on occasion, runs an admin power hour sort of thingy, doohickey, whatever. Basically, they show up, they make a proper public discussion with the admins about the server, gather some thoughts, stuff like that. And I'd like to cover a particular section that I found a little interesting to discuss. So, admemes and when admin interaction is too much. Players want more admemes and admin intervention, more events, more Dino Tuesdays and Start Stale Sundays. Cell will fix up event policy that admins have an estate that can be given to players to be seen. Form section for player requested events for admins to see such problems possibly run. The last part I want to highlight here because there's going to be a lot of people making really, really dumb events for different reasons. Some because they're dumb, some because they think it's a good idea, but it's actually not. Those are going to be most of mine. But I'd like to do some pretty basic do's and don'ts for admin events. And obviously this is going to have a massive sticker of, in my opinion, on it. But let's just start with the first do, but also a don't. Do, make your admin event consensual, and don't announce it all the time. What do I mean by this? Basically, there's a lot of debate around whether or not it's a good idea to announce that admemes are happening. For one, there's an argument that a lot of admemes are very disruptive to a round. You should announce them so that people can learn to expect, okay, there's gonna be fucking chaos this round, nothing's gonna make sense, shit's gonna happen. On the other hand, there's an argument that there's always in the back of a player's mind the meta aspect of a shift, where they start expecting there to be an interesting admeme happening. They start expecting there to be chaos, they change the way they play. Especially security and command, who subconsciously are now ready for more bullshit instead of doing normal patterns of play, which then result in an admin seeing what happens. So, here's my, I guess flowchart? Sure, flowchart for if you should announce an event or not. If your event is going to result in more than 3 people being dead, in all likelihood, as in the event is deadly enough to result in 3 people having to go to medbay and be revived, then announce the event. If your event is deadly enough to result in someone being round removed, announce the event. If the event is deadly enough to result in the entire crew being dead, consider doing a formally announced set time for this event. If the event is not going to result in the deaths of people or injury, and is only going to really involve a small amount of people, probably don't announce it. If your event is going to affect the entire station, probably announce it. If your event is going to result in only a couple people being affected by it, say you put it in main somewhere and only a few people stumble upon it, probably don't announce it. If your event is going to have any kind of central command involvement or involve people or like something that involves ordering the execution of a crew member, i.e. acting as CENTCOM in a way that has the potential to negatively affect a player, probably announce it. But I'd also like to introduce 2 other options. Announce an event to one specific player and ask for their consent. For example, I have a token on my account on Funky Station that just clears an admin to just fuck with me in any way they see fit. I've literally asked for an explode token, so at some point during a round, an admin's just gonna blow me the fuck up and give me as a joke. This is a good way to go about this, as I've already pre-consented to any kind of bullshit happening to me. I even consented to actually just straight up being round removed for no reason besides, it'd be funny. This is a good thing. What you could also do is help a player, ask them if they'd like to participate in this event. For example, using an event where people got like an order from CC to be executed because in Canada, a CC intern was drunk and just sending out random execution requests. That admin, who was, I believe, Tadio, but don't quote me on that, basically ended up helping the player, asking would they like to be executed, / would they like to fuck around. This is a good option if your event is going to negatively affect one player in particular. Another option I'd like to highlight again is the option of smaller yet consequential admin events. For example, I think an interesting event could be a CC cutoff. Basically, CC announces that they have been cut off, or that their communication system is going to go down for the next 3 hours, or so, or whatever. And then what you do is you then have the syndicate contact the station and basically just say, hey, what's up? We're going to come to the station and we just want to talk about a potential takeover. There's an event right there that does one thing in particular very, very well. It makes the rounds more interesting while also not directly having a set outcome, which is why my second don't is going to be, do not have a set outcome for your event. You can have a couple of set outcomes for your event, but don't have one set outcome. For example, you probably see my one lawyer shift where I had a 3-hour court case that I live streamed. That event had 2 set outcomes. Win or lose for each legal side of the argument. There was another court shift, which G also ran, that involved similar actions. These are good. These are good events because they were announced beforehand, and I'll get into my next don't and when that's when that comes into it. It also involved only a small amount of the crew. Only people who wanted to show up to watch the trial were affected. The rest of the shift proceeded as normal. But the big one I want to highlight here is that the event had 2 outcomes and wasn't decided. So, let us get into a do. Do tell your players when your event is going to alter shift length. For the unaware, shift lengths on servers vary wildly. And when I say shift length, I'm referring to the amount of time a shift passes before people want to restart the round or the server automatically goes to initiate a round restart. Basically, when does the next round start? When does this one end? Usually on Funky Station, because I play on this most, and as an example, it's 2 hours before the shuttle gets called. And while recalling the shuttle is acceptable and something you can do for a reason, it's basically never done because people want the shift to restart. They want a fresh character, fresh everything, blah, blah, blah. This is why whenever an event has a shift length alteration, because some people only want to spend 2 hours of their day playing on a shift, or they only want to spend a certain amount of time playing the game at all, and they use shift length as a natural starting and stopping point for their gameplay. Normal shit. Announce whenever this would be affected in preferably a public Discord with a pre-planned event, but alternatively, you could just inform them via added message, message of the day edit, things like that. Oh boy, this dude's going to be controversial. Do choose certain players for certain roles. Let me give you an example using me. I consider myself a above average titer, an above average antag, possibly the best revolutionary ever. Like, if you want me to play a revolutionary role where like I will slowly build up to a full-scale revolution, I will take like a shitsec issue, take it to the authorities, take it to the higher authorities, small protest, riot, full-scale revolt. I will do that process, and I have done it multiple times. However, you put me into a situation where I am an RD, and I need to be basically like an event round where I need to make the AI evil, or some shit, or be a command trader, which I'll get to that in a moment, but basically, I think, in my personal opinion, that despite the meta-friendliness of this and the admin favoritism aspect of this, choosing particular players for being like particular roles based on their strength that you have observed at admin ends better for everyone than just picking completely randomly. Because you pick completely randomly, you might get a guy who needs to play like fucking, I don't know, abductor who doesn't know how to play medical. A guy who doesn't know how to play security playing shit hoss or something like that. Basically playing roles where they try their best to do the thing, but due to just simple inexperience, the event goes poorly, everyone's pissed off, shit like that. So, how do we avoid favoritism? Well, here's the don't. Don't pick the same player for every single event. For reference, there will always be players who are better than other players at certain things. However, if you are an admin running multiple events, choose different players each time whenever possible. Or have a player sign-up thing. Something G the Glorious did, which made the fucking... Hold on, I gotta sling my bottle into my recycling bin. It's like halfway across the room. 1 sec. Did it. Anyway, something G did that I really liked is G signed up and basically assigned team captains for each role in the court cases. And from there, the team captains were allowed to contact other players to act as roles in the court cases. So, like, I had a defendant as a lawyer, who was obviously on my team. And then I was able to hire on people as witnesses for the case. Which is really, really good. I think that worked really, really, really well. And it's also why fucking event shifts where revs and cults are involved are pretty good. So, what's the next don't? The next don't is, I think, the biggest don't above all else. Like, please, God, never do this. Do not, under any circumstances, play an admin event as an admin. Do not do it. Straight up, do not do this. For several reasons. One, you are not the main character. You should never attempt to be the main character. If you play D&D, and while I normally wouldn't apply D&D logic to Space Station because, you know, two different things, if you've ever been a Dungeon Master, you should probably know that the way to do, like, Dungeon Mastering and villains and shit is to make your players the main characters. And this should happen in Space Station to an extent. The people on the station who are dealing with the admin should be the main focus of the admin, not your custom ad-tag with infinite health, infinite speed, one-shots, immunity stuns, that sort of shit. It should never be the main priority, it should never be the main focus. You shouldn't win as an admin. You should not have the chance to win as an admin in your own events. Make someone else play it. Never, ever play your own thing. In addition, admins will inevitably generate A-helps either from confused new players trying to figure out what the fuck is going on and what they should do, or from people A-helping about the event because they're complaining about it. Because yes, people always A-help and complain about events, despite the fact that their events are fine or great or good or otherwise fantastic. There'll be some guy bitching that even though you announced it and even though you were fully capable of like just leaving the server and not playing the admin event, will bitch about it and A-helps about it. That's your responsibility to deal with whenever you do an admin. Don't make the other admins deal with it, unless they're completely fine with it, obviously. These next three do's are courtesy of Tadio, who has first two that should be obvious, involve players. And that means picking up-and-coming role players instead of just the classic ones you might have in your server. Which I basically said earlier. They said it a fair bit more concisely, but yeah. Don't pick the same people for every event to be your, you know, main players, main wet tools for chaos. Pick people who are not new, but are definitely, like, up-and-coming role players, basically. What Tadio's saying is completely correct here. Don't make the admins my your own character. Also obvious, and I basically just said that. So, yeah. The third one, though, I didn't think of, and I think it's really, really good. Enforce the rules of the server less strictly if it's an admin with violence. This is good advice, and while I'm not going to act like I'm talking for Tadio here, I'm going to assume that the reasoning is thus. Admins don't have a precise way you're supposed to interact with the game. There's no, you play this. Like, for example, Blood Cult and Cosmic Cult, what do you do as a security officer when they're revealed? Okay, you get a briefing from Sec if you're on Funky. If you're not, then you somehow know what they are because your server's Metashield. Then you go in, you deconvert them, maybe you shoot back, shit like that. What do you do when there's yet another fucking blob on the station? Because we could never have a shift on the blob. We could never have a shift on the blob. We could never have a shift on the blob. You go in, you get the fucking incendiaries, you shoot the blob until it dies. Shit like that. Okay. What do you do when, like, some creature of darkness is taking people from the mains and abducting people in the halls? What do you do when there's some invisible creature that's attracted by sound killing people? What do you do then? I don't know. I don't know what you should do. Quite simply, don't enforce the rules as hard. If someone responds in a way that's still probably playing a character and doing adorable shit, don't enforce the rules as hard as as you would normally. Because there's not written down. There's no way they should respond to it. Obviously, if they're being a complete dick and using the admin as an excuse to just go ahead and be ultra violent and ruin the round for everyone, do something about it. But in general, try to be a little more lenient. Good advice, Tadio. Thank you for your participation and the free content. Why did you choose to say you fucking suck and I hate your videos? Or sorry, I fucking hate you and your shitty videos. Misspelled with a W in the middle of videos. Thanks, Tadio. That really hurt my feelings. I'm kidding. Tadio fucks around. It's funny. But yeah. From here, I'm going to give a couple of admeme ideas that I think could be more interesting. So let me know what you think about these ideas. Comments down below. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Oh, and if you have your own admeme ideas, also leave them in the comments below. And also post them on your servers, forums, or whatever. Because, obviously, like, your admins can't see them if you don't fucking post about them. So, admeme idea numero uno. One of the heads of staff, i.e. not Haas or Cap, because these will devolve poorly, or maybe either one of them, honestly. Any command. This could go anyway. One of these command members has defected to the Syndicate. As a very high-value Syndicate agent, their defection is very valuable, but hard to keep under wraps. As such, they've been given custom objectives per their objective. For example, and you don't have to hard code these, you could just, as an admin, decide when the player has accomplished these. So, as an admin, you could have the quartermaster help out fellow agents on the station by providing them with ordered weapons that the QM must disperse to these agents stealthily. You could have the research director needing to change the AI's laws to allow it to be subterfuged by any Syndicate agents on board. You could have the HOP provide accesses to Syndicate agents, accesses to other departments even. You could have the captain start subliminally messaging that the Syndicate is maybe to be trusted. Maybe they aren't so bad. Maybe we could be a little more friendly to them. You could have the Haas start taking out valued crew members or trying to revolt against the station actively if you want to go ultra violent for it. But there's a caveat. See, Central Command isn't stupid, and they will notice on board pretty quickly, and they'll fax the onboard magistrate and NTR that there is a Syndicate defector amongst the command members. And it's up to them to choose who to trust, who to believe, and how to proceed. And from there, you could just go completely hands off and just only tell people, hey, you've done your objective or whatever. I think this would be really interesting. I think this could do a fair bit for NTR Magistrate to actually give a fuck. They have to choose who to trust, have to choose who is good, have to ask for proof of loyalty. Could be an interesting shift. Could also end in disaster, because every single antagonist idea where where a member of command is able to be an antagonist at round start has ended up being shit. So, we'll think about it, you know? Here's another one. Central Command is out of captains. They're not able to send a captain to this shift. There's no captain. What do the heads do? Do they promote one? Do they decide amongst themselves? Do they enjoy democracy? Do they fight each other? Who knows? What do they do with this? This, again, could be really interesting. Or it could end with just saying, oh yeah, Hop is captain now. Meh. I think, though, could be really interesting. Here's one that's guaranteed to inject some fucking mayhem into a round, despite, and frankly, no matter what anti it is. Sudcom gets a interesting message, or there's a message broadcast. Mail starts containing random syndicate shit. For reference, the mail system, as far as I'm aware, is already able to be messed with by admins. They're able to send custom mail. So, just sprinkle a few mails that contain, I don't know, a Viper here, a couple of pistols there, maybe an EMAG, maybe a Mauler mech. Whatever the case, I think there could be a lot more interesting ways. And frankly, I think this one could just be a normal part of the game. Where, like, contraband's just able to spawn in on station through the mail system without antags being involved at all. I think this could really spice shit up and also make security a little more shit to do, you know? I think it's a good idea. Could also end poorly, because the wrong person might get an L6. But who knows? Here's my final idea, and this one is round altering, like, completely. Here's the idea. Every 10 players get their own version of Reach Station. The smallest station in the game, and a station that is effectively just its own ship. What happens then? You figure it out. We already have the capability to have multiple spawns on different stations, so we could just have 10 spawns on, you know, each individual station. I don't know how the fuck you'd set this up, but it's doable. It's possible. And I think it would be really, really interesting. So, that's all I got for this video. Again, leave your own ideas in the comments if you have criticisms about my own comments or ideas for events. Not my own comments. What am I, stupid? Then leave them down below. I think that I have some good ideas because I'm me and I'm great and epic and poggers and whatever. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Please comment. I like comments. I like reading them. I enjoy reading the comments. They're very fun. Anyways, thank you to Onai Mansion Boy, Magwar Sandra, Atel Yuki, Gosim, Snore, Biffed, Tolkien Stalker, Butter Jedi, Mr. XD Awesome, Nubbo, The Lazy Hungarian, Just Period, Plantek, Henlo, Roast Beer, Bakefield, User Faces, Ultra, Some Kitty Cat, North Star, and Feel by Timo. Support the show down below. You've heard me say this a million times. Blah. Okay, that's the video. Goodbye now.